Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're tackling something that is quite literally a matter of life and death. But don't worry, we're going to explore it in a way that leaves you feeling completely empowered. We're demystifying the AED, that's the automated external defibrillator. You see, sudden cardiac arrest gives absolutely zero warning. It can happen anywhere. You could be at the gym, sitting in the office, or just walking down the aisle at the grocery store. And the scary reality is, survival drops with every single passing minute. But today, we're uncovering the exact step-by-step survival guide to handling this medical crisis. By the end of our time together, you're going to know exactly what to do.
Okay, so let's just address the elephant in the room right off the bat. If you see someone suddenly collapse, become unresponsive, and stop breathing normally, your adrenaline is going to completely spike. And right on the heels of that adrenaline is usually a whole lot of fear. The biggest question most people have is simply, what if I make a mistake? What if I do something wrong and actually make it worse? Listen, it's entirely normal to hesitate because you're terrified of stepping in during a massive medical crisis. You're not a doctor. You're not a paramedic.
But here is the absolute core truth you've got to remember. An AED is built specifically so that an untrained bystander can save a life. It literally will not let you do harm. That is the entire point of the device's design. It's specifically engineered for everyday people who have zero medical background. Honestly, if you can follow simple, spoken instructions, you can absolutely use an AED. You don't need a medical degree to be a hero today. You just need to listen to the machine. So what's actually happening under the hood of this thing? Well, during sudden cardiac arrest, the heart doesn't just stop cold. Its electrical rhythm gets incredibly chaotic, which means it completely stops pumping blood effectively. When you place the AED's adhesive pads on a person's chest, the machine reads that chaotic rhythm. It acts as the doctor for you. It detects whether a shockable rhythm is present, and if it is, it delivers a really carefully measured electrical shock to essentially reset the heart back to a normal rhythm. It's doing all that complex, high-stakes medical analysis for you in real time. And that brings us right to busting the biggest fear people have. What if I accidentally shock someone who doesn't actually need it? The undeniable fact here is that the AED analyzes the rhythm and will only allow a shock when one is genuinely needed. You physically cannot accidentally shock someone. If the person's heart does not require a shock, the machine locks you out. You are completely protected from making that mistake. Section 1. Before you touch the AED. Before you even think about the device, there's a quick baseline protocol we have to establish. These are the immediate, critical actions you've got to take the very second you notice someone is collapsed, is unresponsive, and isn't breathing normally. Step 1, call 911 immediately or point directly to someone specific and say, "You, call 911 right now." Step 2, send someone else to grab the nearest AED. And Step 3, begin CPR if you're able. It's absolutely crucial to understand that an AED doesn't replace CPR. They work as a team. You perform chest compressions to keep blood moving to the brain, and the AED works to reset the heart's electrical system. Section 2. The 5 simple steps. Okay, so someone grabbed the AED off the wall, handed it to you, and now what? Let's slow things down a bit. I want this exact sequence to feel incredibly familiar to you before you ever actually find yourself in an emergency. Here is your high-level roadmap. 1. Turn it on. 2. Expose the chest. 3. Apply the pads. 4. Let the AED analyze. And 5. Deliver the shock. That's literally it. Just 5 steps standing between a life-threatening collapse and giving someone the absolute best chance of survival. Let's break each of those down. Step 1 is simply turning it on. Now, I know that sounds super obvious, but in a sheer panic, simple things are the first to fly right out the window. Just open the lid or hit that big power button. From that exact moment, the device becomes your instructor. Every modern AED is going to guide you with really clear, calm voice prompts. A lot of them even have visual cues. You just have to listen. You do not have to memorize a single thing from here on out. All right, step 2, expose and prepare the chest. The AED needs to connect directly to bare skin, so you've got to remove or cut away their clothing. The skin needs to be completely bare and dry so those adhesive pads can stick properly and actually conduct electricity. If they're super sweaty or wet, just wipe it away quickly. If the chest is heavily covered in hair right where the pad needs to go, grab the small razor that's included in almost all AED kits and quickly shave the spot. I know time is of the essence, but getting a good connection is absolutely vital. Step 3, apply the pads. You know, this is the part people stress over the most, but it's practically foolproof. Just peel the pads off their backing. You don't even have to guess where they go because there are literal pictures printed right on the pads themselves. You just match the picture to the body. One goes on the upper right chest, just below the collarbone. The other goes on the lower left side, sort of wrapping around beneath the armpit. Firmly press them onto the bare skin. Boom, zero guesswork involved. Just a really quick aside here. If the victim happens to be a young child, we're talking under 8 years old or under roughly 55 pounds, check the kit for pediatric pads. These are designed to deliver a modified shock level that's appropriate for a smaller body. If the kit has them, absolutely use them. If it doesn't, standard pads can still be used, but always opt for the pediatric ones if they're available. Moving to step 4, let the AED analyze. The machine is literally going to say out loud, analyzing heart rhythm. Do not touch the patient. At this exact moment, everybody has got to take a step back. Make sure absolutely no one is touching the person, and that includes you. Because if someone is touching the patient, the machine might accidentally read their heart rhythm instead of the victim's. Give the machine a few seconds of total stillness to do its medical math. And finally, step 5, deliver the shock, if advised. If the machine figures out a shock is going to help, it'll tell everyone to stand clear. You just quickly verify visually that no one is touching the patient. Then, press the flashing shock button. Some of the fully automatic models will even deliver the shock entirely on their own after a short countdown. Once the shock is delivered, or if the machine says no shock advised, you immediately dive right back into CPR. Start those chest compressions again and just keep following the voice prompts until emergency medical services arrive. Section 3. Busting common myths. Look, even with a solid roadmap, it's totally natural to have some lingering anxiety that might make you freeze up in the moment. So let's clear that out entirely. The absolute biggest myth is the belief that formal training is a hard prerequisite. People think, I need to take a certification class before I'm allowed to open that box. The fact is, AEDs provide step-by-step spoken instructions specifically because they are designed for untrained bystanders. Now, don't get me wrong, formal CPR and AED training is fantastic. It builds immense confidence, and I highly recommend everybody takes a class. But it is definitely not required to act in an emergency. The machine will literally teach you how to use it while you use it. So if you take nothing else away from this explainer, remember this golden rule. You literally cannot do it wrong. The only true mistake you can possibly make is doing nothing at all. The AED will not shock a heart that doesn't need it. Doing something dramatically beats standing around waiting. The machine is actively protecting you from making medical errors, which frees you up to just follow the simple directions and act. And honestly, the impact of you stepping up is just staggering. Take a look at this number, 3. Survival rates from a witnessed sudden cardiac arrest literally more than triple when a bystander acts quickly with CPR and an AED. Think about that for a second. You are multiplying a person's chance of going home to their family by 3 simply by having the courage to open a box and press a power button. Which brings us to our final thought. An AED is only going to save a life if it's close enough to use in those critical first few minutes, and of course, if it's actually working. A device sitting there with expired adhesive pads or a completely dead battery isn't going to help anybody. So I want to leave you with this question to ask yourself today. Do you actually know where the AEDs are located in your office or your gym or your school? And more importantly, are they genuinely ready to save a life? Take a quick look around your everyday spaces this week. You now have the exact knowledge needed to save a life. Just make sure your environment is actually quick to let you do it.